Hey guys, welcome back to Jessen Reads Romance. I'm Jessen, and I just have to give a huge shout out to everybody because I officially hit 1K followers as of this moment as I sit down to record another video. So thank you so much for everyone who has subscribed to my channel. Thank you so much. And to the book community who have been sharing my channel. Like, I honestly couldn't have gotten here without my fellow booktubers just spreading the word. So yeah, I'm just like so thankful. I'm so happy. And I'm going to do a 1K Q&A. So if you have any questions about me, my channel, the books that I read, my favorite books, anything related to books or myself or the podcast, you can drop your questions below or send me a message at swreadrom on our social media pages. Instagram, you can direct message me there. And just let me know if you have any questions. I'm gonna do a fun Q&A video, just whatever you wanna know. But today, we're gonna be doing a tier maker ranking because I absolutely love doing tier makers and it's so much fun. I saw Mina do a tier maker of ranking romance tropes. And on the podcast, we have 2 episodes that Juliet and I talk about our pet peeves in romance. I thought it would be fun to rank my pet peeves because some of the pet peeves, it's almost inescapable. You will find them in romance books kind of no matter what. And then some, like, that is what like really gets me. So there's different levels of pet peeves. Some are just kind of like, it's annoying. And some are like, I will probably DNF if this happens. So I wanted to rank all those. I'm really excited, so let's get started. I have a couple of tiers, and the first one is it is what it is, and it's not that bad. It's a pet peeve, but it's not that bad. Then we have I'm not mad, I'm just disappointed. I think it's self-explanatory. Then we have I was rooting for you. This is where I start to get more aggravated with a pet peeve. Like, it could be a little bit, it could not ruin a book, but it could definitely lessen my enjoyment of a book, a character, the story. Then we have left on red, which means, yeah, we may DNF. I don't know. But throw away the whole man is like definitely, it's grounds for DNF. It could be at a point where I'm just like, okay, I'm sick of it. And sometimes it's like multiple pet peeves that get me to that point, like a combination of them. So it's not always just one pet peeve. Sometimes it's a bunch of them all together in the same book that like really get me to that point. But anyway, I made some icons of my pet peeves that we have featured on the podcast in our pet peeve minisodes, and we're gonna rank them right now. The first one is crutch phrases, and crutch phrases are phrases that an author keeps repeating in the book, and after a while it gets noticeable. There are a couple authors that it's not even in just a single book that this happens. It happens across the board on every single book that they ever write. It's like, of course, she always says this, like, and a good editor will be like, hey, you're using this too much. But a lot of indie publishers don't go through like a lot of rounds of editing. It's very expensive to do it. So sometimes they'll end up in there. Hey, it happens in big fives too. So I'm not just saying it just happens in indies. But yeah, crutch phrases it depends. It really depends. I think I'm going to put it, I don't know if it is what it is, or I'm not mad, I'm just disappointed, because there are some authors where it's just like, it almost makes it unbearable how samey all the characters sound. I'm gonna put it for now, I'm not mad, I'm just disappointed. I'm gonna stay there. The next one that I have is headlights. So in one of our pet peeve minisodes, we talk about how there are a couple different signifiers that authors use to signal that the character is turned on and attracted to the love interest. And one of them that I'm just kind of like so just tired of is the perpetually hard nipples. It's just like these women are just like, oh my God, I'm so attracted, like looking down, be like, yep, you can see my nipples through my shirt. And it's just like, all right. I'm going to put it in, it is what it is. It's honestly an easy way to tell that someone's attracted to or sexually turned on to someone. Yeah, it is what it is, but it bothers me a lot. I'm just like, can we do something else? The next one is must be pregnant. Now, I didn't include this in any of the minisodes. This just happened recently, and I'm just like, yeah, it's kind of like cliche when this happens in a romance novel. So must be pregnant is when you have a character, they've slept with somebody, and they either telegraph that it's now 1 month later, because of course it's 1 month, or suddenly foods that they love and it's just like, man, I used to really love these foods and now just like smelling it makes me sick. And it's just like, yeah, okay, we get it. You're telegraphing that your characters are pregnant, and I don't think it's necessary. If a character ends up by being pregnant within a novel, I don't necessarily need the telegraphing. Sometimes it could be exciting, and sometimes it could be done well, but whenever it's like bashing you over the head, like giving you all of the pregnancy symptoms, like, oh, my boobs hurt, I don't have an appetite, nauseous whenever I wake up, but oh, it went away, so I'm not going to worry about it. It's all like, oh, you must be pregnant. And the big one is like 1 month later, like, it's been 4 weeks since me and Jack slept together. And it's like, okay, so are we gonna do a pregnancy now? And it most likely will happen. So must be pregnant is, I'm not mad, I'm just disappointed, because it's not that I don't like my characters having a baby like within the novel, it's that the telegraphing is kind of like eye-rolly sometimes. The next one is the klutz. The klutz is left on red. We're putting it on left on red. I do not like when you have a heroine and their fault is being klutzy. They stumble on everything. Ooh, I cannot walk on my own 2 feet. I'll trip on air. That thing really bothers me because it's not a character flaw. It is not a character flaw. And authors often employ this whenever they want their character to be very likable and they just don't know, or they're too afraid to like give them a true character flaw. Klutzy often appears and I don't like it. And I understand some people are klutzy. I definitely like run into the sides of tables all the time, but that's different. I'm talking about people, heroines, who trip and fall into the hero's arms and, oh no, I'm falling, and the hero is always there to catch them, literally. And it's just like, no, let's get rid of that. Let's just get rid of klutzy as a trait. I don't like it and I'm over it. And yeah, and it's definitely, I kind of think of it as like the Bella Swan trait, because Bella can't put one foot in front of the other without falling over. So yeah, now this is definitely one of my pet peeves that Juliet like knows now. And now whenever she's writing a book, she's like, okay, maybe I should pull back on this. So my next one is Rin Out the Met. This is when a hero or heroine has to do a grand gesture because they've messed up. And sometimes this grand gesture, it's almost overshadowing the actual like apology that they're supposed to be giving the person that they have offended or hurt in some way. And sometimes renting out like a whole stadium, or like commandeering the Jumbotron at a game, or like going over the radio, or sometimes these grand gestures could be, it's almost like they're written for like TV. They're written to be like something that's like extravagant and exciting, but it's also like, if this happened in real life, I'd kind of be like, can we have this conversation in private? It would mean more to me if it was like more of a one-on-one, or you did something where I didn't feel like I had to forgive you because we're in front of a bunch of people and they might think I'm like a shrew if I don't forgive you. So I don't like it. It's just like, sigh. It happens a lot in romance, and I just rather like a more sincere form of like groveling toward the end instead of like a grand gesture. Just like a gesture that's very meaningful and private sometimes. Like sometimes it works better that way. I do not require a grand gesture in my novels. Okay, so the next one is vetted by the friend. This is when we have a character and their friend group for some reason is hard to get along with, or they like always want to judge if the hero or heroine is dating somebody. They're like judging them harshly, unwelcoming. To me, as a person who has like social anxiety, and when I'm around a bunch of people that I don't know well, I'm very quiet and I could come off as being like, standoffish and stuff. And that is like my greatest fear, is just people just like not liking me for like no reason. And so like, I feel like if I stay quiet, I'm just like, okay, nobody can't like me because I'm just not saying anything. But yeah, I just don't like whenever the friends have to like get approval. It's like, butt out the relationship. If it's a problematic relationship and a friend gets involved because they care about that person making a mistake in a relationship, that's different. But I'm talking about the love interest. For some reason, a friend or a sibling or a parent does not approve and they're like blatantly mean to the love interest. It's it bothers me. I just don't like it. So we're gonna do I Was Rooting for You. I cannot believe that it happened in the book, but it happened, and dang, I was gonna really like it until this happened. Okay, so the next one is mustache twirly villains. It happens a lot. I want to put it on. I'm not mad, I'm just disappointed, because I kind of expect a little bit more from, if you're gonna have a character that's like a villain that's part of the conflict, I kind of want a little bit more. I want more depth. I want like a gray kind of villain. I like those types, instead of just like, he is evil and he's going to give you his speech about why he's evil and he can do whatever he wants, and you know, nobody can touch me. But of course by the end, it's just kind of like, it leaves a lot to be desired when you're reading about a villain saying that nobody can touch me, I have you, and then at the end of the novel it's like, well, we know that the hero and the heroine are going to get the upper hand over this person somehow, some way, because it ends in an HEA. Well, at least it happens like 98% of the time. Authors don't often have like the hero and the heroine like losing to like a villain. But anyway, it happens in contemporary romance. There's, as much as I love the Grip series, there is kind of a mustache twirly villain in Grip. And yeah, Parker is a little bit too on the nose, too much of a mustache twirly villain. Yeah, but I mean, there are people like him. It's just a little bit more depth, a little bit more nuance is what I'm looking for if we're going to have like a villain as a conflict. The next one is Mean Girls, Except Me. And I want to put it in Throw Away the Whole Man, because I'm kind of sick of reading romances where the only likable woman in the novel is the heroine, and every other woman she comes into contact with, whether it be an ex, a boss, the mother, the sister, all the women that we feature, even inconsequential people like waitresses at a restaurant, are just like the most heinous type of people. They're rude, they're obnoxious, they're really mean. Like nothing is going for these women. And it's like often a ploy that the author uses to make sure that you like the heroine, because all the other options are like horrible. And I just don't like it. I don't like whenever, I like women supporting women in novels, even exes. Like, and I have like a whole separate, yeah, I do have a separate one for that. So we'll get into that whenever I get to this little lovely icon. Well, let's just do it now. Okay, so this is called The Dreaded Ex. I don't really like when the ex of the hero or the heroine is just a terrible person and they're part of the conflict and why the hero and the heroine can't be together, because the ex just wants like money, or is making it difficult for the hero or the heroine to have custody of their children or something. These are just examples that we run into, and I don't like that. Like, I want more harmonious, like exes, like ex-wives, ex-girlfriends. I want more harmony in that department. I'm gonna do Throw Away the Whole Man. It really is annoying when of course the person that wronged the hero or the heroine is their ex, and they're terrible, and they're here to ruin the new love interest's lives, and I don't want it. I don't want it in my romances. I want something new. I want something different. I want true like blended families. That would be fun. Like if it like the idea of a blended family where the hero's ex-wife has remarried and has kids, and they're like in complete harmony. They don't have trouble sharing custody of the kid that they have together, and you know, they're very cordial to each other. I really like that, and I would like for the ex to more like be like, oh, I'm so glad that you're dating again, like you deserve it. Like, is it too much to ask for? Is it too much to ask for more nice people in romance novels? Okay, so for the next one, I labeled this meta trope reference. And I think I'm going to put on Left on Red, because at this point, I'm just getting annoyed with how many times this has appeared in romance novels lately. I don't really love when a character, a woman for example, because it just happened in a book that I was reading, she has to point out like, I am not a damsel in distress. I don't know, I just wouldn't say that in real life. Like, that's something, as a romance reader, you're familiar with that term. And so, yeah, you associate that. But I associate it with reading romance books and like, or, you know, movies or something like that. to actually say it in conversation with somebody else and be like, don't treat me like I'm a damsel in distress. You wouldn't actually say that. You would be like, don't treat me like I'm incompetent. Like, I can take care of myself. But saying damsel in distress, Prince Charming, or like, oh, this is a Beauty and the Beast trope. Like, I've read romances where it's just like, this is a Beauty and the Beast trope, and I'm just like, wait, what? No. Like, I don't know. I don't like go around and being like, this is a friends to lovers trope. Like, ooh, amazing. If I'm talking to like a romance friend, I will. But like an everyday conversation, no, I don't say that. And I'm just like, why? Why is this in there? I don't understand it. We know this author loves romance because they're writing romance. Like, you don't need to convince me that you're a romance fan as well as an author, in my opinion. Okay, so the next one is synchronized orgasms. I'm gonna put it in I'm not mad, I'm just disappointed. Synchronized, oh, well, it is what it is. No, I'm not mad, I'm just disappointed. We're gonna keep it there. So, synchronized orgasms. Guys, I'm not saying they don't happen. They do happen. But the majority of the time, you can't just like expect to tell somebody to be like, okay, come, and then they will. That's not how it works. You can't just like command somebody to do it in everyday life, in everyday interaction. And a lot of young girls and guys who read romance, they're getting some sex education from romance books, from sex scenes, or maybe it's somebody who's in a bad relationship and who has never experienced a healthy sexual relationship. And putting that expectation that, oh, y'all should be coming at the same time, like that's the ultimate satisfaction is if you come at the same time. Like, no. And sometimes it's harder for the woman to come. And that's why I applaud every author who has the hero going down on the heroine or bringing her to orgasm first, then worrying about him, and then they can go on with sex and it's still fun, but like make sure she gets off first. I just prefer it that way in my romances. Yeah, I'd synchronize orgasms though. I'm just like, we can do away with those. It's fine. If it happens, it happens. But okay, the next one is it's been 84 years. Personal pet peeve, throw away the whole man. Left unread. Okay, I don't really care for romance novels that do a bunch of time jumps, and every single time the hero and the heroine, it looks like they may be getting together. Something happens, and it happens over the course of years, possibly even decades. That's just not my kind of angsty drama that I want. I think you can do different types of angst, and this is my least favorite type of angst to employ in a romance novel. I like time jumps. I like childhood sweethearts. Maybe they separated for college and then they come back. I like that kind of thing, like kind of like a second chance romance. But if it's a second chance where like it's not even a second chance, it's a 10th chance, maybe it's time to recognize that y'all don't belong together. I don't know. It's been 10 years and y'all tried to get together like 5 times and it's not worked out. I don't know. It's just a lot, and I just get frustrated and bored, and those are the books where I come off being like, why did I waste time? But they also have an addictive quality because it's like, if you guys could just get on the same page, it'd be so wonderful. But they don't get on the same page until the very end. And to me, I'm not satisfied. I want to see my characters getting along for like a certain period of time. Like actually like being happy. Like I don't need we got married at the end, but I like want to see them happy in a relationship for a little bit before the book closes out. That's all I'm asking for. Okay, the next one's definitely going throw away the whole man. It is Don't Look at Me, I'm Beautiful. When we have a heroine who is constantly saying things like, I know I'm not sexy. Oh, I know I'm not what you usually go for. Oh, like, I know I'm not like this beauty. I don't know how to do makeup. And like, I know I'm just so plain Jane. I'm so plain. But like the hero's like, no, you're like gorgeous to me. Like you're super gorgeous, and the kicker is other people find that person attractive. So it's just, are you being purposefully obtuse? And I get being like humble and like not being able to take a compliment, but I'm talking about these heroines seriously think that there's just nothing special about them, and the author normally characterizes them as having like, you know, they don't mess with their hair. They put it in a ponytail because ponytails cannot be sleek or sexy. It's stupid. Or like not wearing makeup, or like, oh, I don't even know how to put on mascara, and it's just like, I get not being comfortable with makeup, but like, you know what mascara is, even if you don't wear it every single day. Like mascara, you put it on your eyes. It's ridiculous. And I'm just so tired of it. I don't like that. It's almost like fishing for compliments, the way that it's done. It's another Bella Swan trait, actually. She's just kind of like, I'm so plain. I don't know why he's with me. And I just don't like that. It's in the book that I'm reading right now, and it's annoying me. Yeah, anyway. Okay, this one is similar. It's not like other girls. I'm going to put it in Throw Away the Whole Man. Yeah. Left on Red. Yeah, we're going to keep it in Left on Red. So, not like other girls. Again, it normally happens when an author wants the reader to be like, this girl has something special and unique about her. But the way that they go about it rubs me the wrong way, because most of the time they have to like compare themselves to like other women and be like, well, that's a lesser type of woman. Like, oh, I'm not one to settle down. Like, I don't want to have like a family and like give up my career. I would never. And I'm just like, okay, but like it's valid if somebody doesn't want to focus on their career and wants to have a family too. Like that doesn't make them a lesser type of woman. And also like, oh, I never wear skirts. I never wear dresses. Like it's all rooted in misogyny. And that's what happens whenever you have a patriarchal society. Women who believe that they need to get on top think that they have to disassociate themselves with everything that's feminine to be able to be considered like to be the strong type of heroine, and I don't like it. It's a trap. It is a trap that some authors fall into. And that's also another type of like, similar to the everyone's a mean girl except for me. It's like every other woman is vapid around me, cares about, you know, makeup and hair and just like inconsequential things, and the heroine is the only one that is worried about like great life-changing things. Like something dire is going on in the world, and the heroine's like the only woman around that cares about these things, and all of the friends or other girls in the book are just kind of like, why do you care about that? It's so silly. I just want to like hang out with my friends and go out and do all this type of things. And it's just like, ugh, like I can't believe that they care about stuff like that. I just don't like it. I just don't like the message that it sends, that we have to put down other women to like lift ourselves up. There's different types of people. I think it's all valid, and we shouldn't criticize for that, okay? We should not criticize if a woman does not want to have kids. This is not a pet peeve. This is just the commentary in Romancelandia. I do not need my hero and my heroine to want to have kids or long for a family or have an epilogue that features them getting married and pregnant. I don't need that. Some people don't want kids, and they shouldn't have it if they don't want it. Yeah, anyway, that's a whole nother story. This is the big one. I don't know whether to put Throw Away the Whole Man, because it can be like that. The next one is miscommunication. And I'm gonna put it in Throw Away the Whole Man, because this is a specific type of miscommunication. I'm not talking about miscommunication that is done well, because it does happen in a lot of my favorite romances. Like there is something that needs to be clarified in order to like complete the full story. But I'm talking about your whole book hinges on the fact that the hero and the heroine could have one single conversation and then it's done. It's over. The book could be over. And it's so easy for them to have a conversation. That's the kicker. It's easy for them to clarify this, and for some reason it just doesn't happen. And the reasons why they're not talking about it are stupid. I read so many books where the hero or the heroine are like, let me explain, and their love interest is like, I don't want to hear it, and walks away. If that would be me, and I'm like, if I say one sentence and it would clear up everything, I'd be shouting at their back as they're walking away, being like, this is what happened, and like then the conversation would continue. Like I just don't understand why people say, let me explain, and then whenever the person says, I don't want to hear it, they just don't. Like, okay, well, I tried to explain. I said I wanted to explain, and instead of saying I wanted to explain, I could have just started to explain before telegraphing that I had, an alternative version of the story. I don't know. It's just, no, I don't want it. I don't want it. This next one is definitely left on red. This is the love interest fake out. No, throw away the whole man. We don't need that book. We don't need that book. I'm thinking of a specific book that still bothers me, even though I read it almost 12 or 14 years ago. It still bothers me. This is different from a love triangle. We have love triangle coming up next. Love interest fake out is you introduce a love interest and halfway through the book, another person pops up, or like even longer, another person pops up, and that's the person who the hero or heroine end up by getting with toward the end. It's like, why build up a character and make me think that this is the love interest for half the book? There's no competition. And then all of a sudden somebody else comes in and it's just like, well, who are you? Of course I don't want you. It's not like gotcha, you thought they were going to be with them. It's like, well, yeah, because you told me that these two people were going to be together, and then you're bringing in this third party person who hasn't been here for half the drama, and you expect me to want them to be my character, to be with them instead. I don't like it. You don't need to do that. Okay, then we have the love triangle. I think we're going to do I was rooting for you because it still does happen. It's not my favorite. I read a lot of these when I was reading YA, and I loved it. I was like here for this, like, no, I'm team so-and-so, no, I'm team this. And obviously these are, these are meant to be together. These characters are meant to be together. And my friends had like an opposing opinion. I don't like it. I think that I want to just focus on the development. All I want to focus on, I don't want a love triangle. I just want them to be together, my characters. This next one is left on red. No, yes, no, I was rooting for you. We're gonna put Fade to Black in I was rooting for you. If it happens in a book that I just so happen to be enjoying and there's no sex scenes, but that's the only thing that really bothered me, it's fine. I can enjoy a book. An example is The Unhoneymooners by Christina Lauren. I hadn't read their previous books like the Beautiful series, so I had no idea that they actually were explicit at one time. And of course I'm always disappointed when it's Fade to Black. I read romance novels and I expect there to be some level of sex in there, like some level. I don't want Fade to Black at all, like just a little bit. Even if it's like vague, it doesn't have to be super explicit in its description for me to like it, but like I want it to be there. And if I read a book, I'm not gonna like dock points from it if I really truly enjoyed it. But if I know ahead of time that this book is Fade to Black and does not have sex in it at all, yeah, I don't want to pick it up. I just don't. I'm just not here for that. Okay, so this is the nickname. And I think I'm going to put It Is What It Is, because a good nickname could be like Chef's Kiss perfect. And it's just like, oh, this is like amazing and I really feel it. And it could be as simple as just like a generic endearment, like babe. I know a lot of people don't like baby, but like honey, whatever, sweetheart. It could be like super sweet in the moment. It can be done right. And a nickname could also be really fun, especially in enemies to lovers, if they have nicknames that they call each other to get on each other's nerves. Like that could be fun. But sometimes authors feel like everyone needs to have a nickname. And like the nicknames sometimes don't make sense. I really dislike it when we have a heroine or a hero and they have red hair and the love interest dubs them Red. Like, I'm gonna call you Red. And it's like so original. So original. We're gonna nickname that person Red. I don't know. It's just, if their name is fine. Sometimes their name is fine and like you don't need to come up with a nickname for them. That's just my opinion. It could be cliche or it could be really amazing, but if you can't think of a good reason for a person to have a nickname, just don't give them one. They don't need one. This is completely personal. I'm not trying to bash anyone who wants to read straight up erotica. Like, not bashing. This is sex on sex on sex. We're going to leave it on left on red. I have read some very smutty books that is very intense that I've thoroughly enjoyed. But the majority of the time, I really at least need an equal amount of sex plus emotional development. And sometimes, if I'm skipping sex scenes, then that's when I know it's too much. It's just like, okay, it's just another time. Like, does this add anything to the story? Does this excite me in any way? And it's like, no, it's just kind of like the same old, same old. They're trying new positions. They're outside and they could be caught instead of it. I just don't love when for me, the sex doesn't serve a purpose besides just being like, this is a really sexy book filled with a lot of sexy scenes, and that's fine. And I know that people like really, really love it, but I would like some emotional development between the characters. I want to understand that these characters are like meant to be together, soulmates, and not just very attracted to one another and acting out lust. And it could fizzle out. Like, if there's too much sex, not enough emotional development, I'm not going to believe that these people are going to be together. Like, they could get bored in the next couple weeks and it'd be done. So yeah, I definitely need a reason to believe that these characters would want to stay together besides just having really good sex. This last one is this is whenever the man, most of the time, continues to sleep around even as they're developing feelings for their love interest. It's mostly the man, the girl. They continue to sleep around. That does not excite me in any way. I don't know if this is like true, but I feel like it is true from what I've read. It happens a lot in bully romances. Like, they want to be with this person, but the love interest for some reason is holding back to, they're like, well, fine, I'm just gonna go sleep with somebody else. And I'm like, well, that's not okay. That's not gonna convince me like, oh yeah, you're ready to settle down and be committed. Like, oh, let's go hook up with somebody else. It does happen a lot in like new adult. Well, again, I don't want to say it just happens in new adult, because it happens with whenever you have older characters as well. I just don't like when the characters continue to sleep around, because it's like, oh, well, we're not official. We're not officially in a relationship. And or they're purposely ignoring all the signs that they could definitely enter in a relationship if they would just like ask and have a conversation. I don't know. It just bothers me. I want my characters to be together. I don't want to read about, them being with somebody else. Hey, if they're with somebody else at the beginning, that's one thing, but I just don't like the fact that men could just sleep around and we're just like, and the woman is just like, oh, I want to wait for a true connection with somebody. And it's my least favorite type of opposites attract, is like the man whore and the virgin. I just don't like that trope. Okay guys, we have ranked all of my pet peeves. If you like this video, give it a big thumbs up. If you're not already subscribed to my channel, subscribe right now. I'm so excited that I have hit 1K. It's a very exciting feeling. Don't forget about the questions, because I will do a video probably on Saturday to answer all those questions. And thank you so much for watching, and life's better with a little ATA. Bye guys.